I'm back! Well, here I am. Back from the USA. Look. Oh, sorry. Sunburn's washed off. That's what happens in England. It's like being in Seattle. Oh, it's worse. Anyway, what am I doing here? Well, I've come to have a look at one of these. This is not any old guitar. Is it? No, it isn't. Actually, what it is, it's one of them PRS things. Yeah. Reminds me of something the missus used to do, but anyway, it's called PRS Private Stock. Yeah, well, what's that about? Well, the idea is that Mr. Paul Smith, the man who originally started the company, and I guess he's more of a figurehead now. Yeah. Anyway, what he did is they say, he stashed all this wood that he was going to keep for himself, all this great big room full, and they decided to give it out on guitars, but they charge you double or triple or quadruple or eight times the price. Great idea. Yeah, you can tell the investors were behind it somehow. Aren't they always? But let's not stop them. I want to take a look at it, don't you? There must be something different about it for the money that it originally cost. Well, they say it cost. When I looked it up on the internet, it was priced up at about $13,500. That's a car, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I wonder how this one will drive a bit later. But I reckon we ought to go in close, up personal, yeah, and take a look. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get the camera and zoom the armour in so we can spend 5 minutes having a real good look at a PRS private stock single cut with a few things on it that the others haven't got. That's a good idea. So we'll go and have a look at it. Hold on. Well, here we are, up close and personal. So what can we say about this thing? Well, we can say it's darn expensive, or it would be if I'd paid that money, but I didn't, so there. Anyway, where did I get it from? I got it from a company called Guitar Brats. I think it's guitarbrats.com or guitarbrat.com, I forget which one it is, but I met this guy in 2010 in the Dallas guitar show. I think it was in April or something like that. And I just thought I'd keep in touch off and on. I did buy a guitar from him a number of years ago, but later sold it, but that's by the by. We're talking about this one. The thing about the Guitar Brat is you can trust him. That's the best thing about him. He isn't always the cheapest, but he does have some very, very cheap deals, I can tell you that much. But he's definitely worth trusting, so there's his plug, and thanks very much, Scott. There you go. Let's have a look at the guitar a bit more and get some of them specs out. Yeah. Well, looking at the top, what you've got is this fabulous quilt. Look at it. It's all over the show, and it should be. That's what you're paying for. So the top's quilt, but the back wood, which we'll have a look a bit later, is a thing called a beachy. Yeah, I thought that was something to do with takeaways, but no, it isn't. So a beachy on the back, quilt maple on the top, mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard, and we'll go on from there on the woods as we go, a bit later. So this colour's called a sort of burnt orange burst indeed. High gloss nitro. When we get down real close in a while, you can actually see the nitro popping very nicely on the back. You'll get what I mean a bit later, but don't worry about it for now. It's got it's got up here, these inlays are mammoth ivory, it says. You can't use the real ivory, but you can use the mammoth ones. You know, aged a bit. Yeah, 20 million years. Awesome. So it's got mammoth ivory side dots as well on the neck when we get to there. Yeah, the top and the back wood on this thing. What it says is they were personally selected by the dealer. I thought it was a private stock and you did all that. Well, some of the dealers figured out that hey, we got no private stock because we can't stock them. So what we'll do is we'll just buy a pile and hang them on the shelf. A great idea, pity nobody bought them, especially for that money. Now I could start naming the people that actually did that, but you can figure it out easy enough, can't you? Especially if you're in the USA. Well, if you look at the trem, it's a standard enough PRS trem. Well, what's different? Well, take a good close look down there. Yeah, you can just see it up here. It's been routed out or routed out, depending where you come from. So you can get uplift out of the trem, which is something you don't usually get too much of with a PRS. With this one, you're going to be able to do that. That was one of the private stock features, they say. I thought that's quite interesting. Next thing you got is pickups. These are 5909 pickups, so they're later design than the originals that I had on my 1991 green PRS. Check my channel if you want to see that one. These pickups, they claim, are better. We shall see, won't we? We will. Well, what else we got? Well, we got the more newer knobs. There's no push pulls on any of this stuff. But apparently on this particular model, the four of them, it makes it different. That's another one of the things they were harping on about. I don't know why. It's like a Les Paul, isn't it? As you can see, all the hardware's gold, and I have changed out the. I'm not sure you can see it, but don't worry. The strap buttons for some locking ones. I'd hate to see it at the floor. You might not, but I'd hate to see it at the floor really. So we did something about that. Do you know, when I always look at these guitars, I always like to have a look at the sort of finishing around this section, around the edge bit, that, you know, makes it look like it's an inlay. Because what you normally get on most of these PRSs is bleed of the colouring into this, and on some of the PRSs I've seen, it's really quite severe. I'm just taking a quick look at this one. I haven't really looked that close, but this one seems not bad actually, compared to some of the ones I've seen. Like I said, maybe paying all their extra money makes it so they do the job right in the first place, rather than the second or third time on the cheap ones. Who knows? This thing's got the usual sort of treble, both, and neck pickup selector. It's so much like a Les Paul, it's ridiculous. It is a Les Paul. There, I said it. So let's now zoom along the neck and have a look at the top end of the neck, and then we'll flip her over. Hold on. Oh, here we are on the neck. Like I said, it's got rosewood on the top. Oh look, I found a new tune. Bird inlays, as you'd expect, but they're the sort of mammoth ones instead of the other stuff. Just look at them. It's quite amazing that that's how they are, but I'm not sure if there's like little cracks or imperfections in those birds, if you can see that. Let's zoom in a bit closer. Yeah, there you go. You can see what I mean. See that? That might be just an imperfection. It might not. But actually, there's quite a few of them that have gone all the way down the neck. This one's got a pretty nice neck actually. It feels like a bit like a Les Paul neck. Now I know that they have the fat ones and the thin ones, but this is a bit more like the thin ones. That's how I describe it, rather than sitting there talking all day about the radius and all sorts of rubbish that you might want to harp on about. I'm not going to do that. Let's have a look at the headstock. Well, here's the headstock. Let me come around that side. Here I am. It's got rosewood finishing on the top, and it's got the eagle here, made of mammoth ivory again. Usual lockers that you get on PRS. Nothing special about any of it really, except it's got rosewood tuners or tuner ends or tuner, well, I don't know what to call them, them bits. So that's about it for that. Let's flip her over and have a look at the back. On the back of the headstock you've got obviously the serial number, private stock number, the date it was made, Paul Reed Smith's signature, and Paul Miles' signature, just there. So those are the two guys that are usually involved with private stock guitars, as they call them. They're less private stock to me. I mean, it's a great marketing idea, and I'm sure some of the wood costs a few $100 difference, but doesn't equate to be the cost that you might have to pay if you went out and bought one. I don't know. Anyway, as you can see, standard PRS tuners, the level 3 ones, that's what they call them, and the neck's starting off to turn into a Les Paul neck there, isn't it? It's a mahogany back, by the way, in case I didn't say it. Looking at the neck overall, you can get a pretty good idea of how thin that neck is. I wouldn't say it's unwieldy, that thin, you know, like an Ibanez, but it's certainly not a 59 fat Les Paul. It's got a good radius on it that you'd probably like. PRS call it a single cut carve. Well, single cuts where I come from, because I'm old enough, they're called Les Pauls. So it's a Les Paul cut. Oh, I'm sure they'll argue with that, but don't worry, they don't pay me, do they? So who cares? Now when you're looking at the back of this neck, it's got this cutaway, well, it's not further down the neck, the neck's sunk further into the body really. Some of these other PRSs, the custom 24s for example, I mean they have a chunk of this here sticking out like this. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Wherever they got that idea from, I really don't know. If you go and look at the 91 one that I have, it has a piece sticking out just about this much. So maybe that's a return to the way it should be, but highly unlikely that you'll see that anytime soon on production stuff. In fact, I'm quite confident you won't see it at all. So there. If you look at the body, that Obici, I mean, it even looks a bit like mahogany, doesn't it? Well, it looks very much like mahogany. I don't know why it's Obici, but it's just a bit of wood they picked up. I have played it, and it sounds like a mahogany body. So maybe that's just a way of paying for something you don't need. Anyway, let's move a bit further down. You see, overall, I mean, to be honest, it looks like a pretty standard body. Don't look anything special to me, other than the bit of wood. So, did it take any more to prep? No. Did it take any more to finish off and seal? No. It's got nitro on it, but so are some of the Strats these days. They aren't the sort of money that, you know, you could pay on a private stock guitar for $13,500. That's an awful lot of money. Even the plates look pretty standard to me. What you see on a PRS, I don't know. Let's whip the back off this and have a look at what they really do inside to see if there's anything special in there. Maybe it's all gold. Who knows? We'll have a look. Well, here we are, under the cover, under the cavity. Inside the cavity, should I say. Well, I hate to say it, but they don't look any different than anything else. You got a couple of capacitors there and some welding that looks like some trainee did, but that's another story. Apart from that, what do you get for your money? Well, all I can tell you is it isn't in the wiring. So let's put the lid back. Now, I'm not sure you guys can see that, but if you look really careful as I move it, you can actually see that the lacquer is exceedingly thin. In fact, yeah, could do with another coat. It's pretty down. Oh, another thing that's usual today, we're back on the top, is that they fit 10s as standard, which I'm sure some of you people will like. I don't. Don't detune and don't do anything else like that. So if they're going to come off and go in the bin, I'm going to fit 9s. That's just life. By the way, you get one of them too, one of them certificate things. If it's worth anything. I don't know if it is. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill piece of paper that you can go and buy by the thousand. They've printed PRS on a PRS eagle on the back, and apart from that, yeah, copy ROM. What's it worth? Nothing. That sort of thing always reminds me of the Marshall amp manuals, when you get the Joe Satriani one out and you open it up and there's Joe inside and there's a signature and a whole section that he's written. Unfortunately, it's just a copy. It's just a print. It's a nothing. Everybody's got one. And I suppose, well, you could say that the certificate is unique to this guitar. Well, what purpose does it serve? Well, none. It's just another part of the gimmick. Part of the way of being able to charge such ridiculous money for a guitar that's basically a $3,000 Les Paul. I'm back, but I never went anywhere. I always say that, don't I? Oh, that's just life. Put up with it. So here I am. I could have gone and spent hours on end doing the investigating of what a 5909 pickup is, but the name gives it away a little bit, doesn't it? And I could have spent hours on how Obeachy, that's a great word, Obeachy. It reminds me of a large lady. Obeachy. Or a new album. What's your new album? Obeachy. Wow. Anyway, I could have spent hours figuring out what that sounds like, but it sounds like mahogany. Oh, it's so funny. And, you know, I could have harped on for months about the top. Actually, the top is quite nice. It's not as good as some of the other ones I've got out of PRS, but this one's just a private stock. And everything else, I mean, okay, I've got a tremolo that'll go up and down, that's what they're supposed to do. And I've got some of the current knobs, it's 4 of them instead of 2 they said. I don't know. And it's a mahogany neck and it's got a bit of a rosewood. You know, where did they get the value from? Well, I don't know. I don't know where the value comes from. It certainly doesn't come across as being well over twice the price of one of the regular ones, that's the more top end regular ones, the PRS make, and that's a fact. But looking at it, it's nice, but it's not that nice. It'll look great on camera. It sounds great too, which I'm gonna stick on the end or stick on another video. Actually, I'll probably put it on another video, and that way you get 2 for the price of 1. Obeachy. So although this isn't a long video compared to some of the ones I've done, I hope you get a sort of up close and more personal view of a PRS Private Stock than you would sitting on the top shelf of a Guitar Centre or one of these companies in the UK that never get them off the wall because they don't want you to scratch them and things. That's how they are, isn't it? Nobody's going to show you anything unless you got your, I don't know, $13,500. Who cares? Well, they don't. And you probably haven't got it, like I haven't got it. Well, I have, but I never spend it on this. I bought this very cheap, so who can I complain? I've got the case over there too. You can't see, but no, it's just a case. A bit of an eagle on it. Where do they get these ideas from? I really don't know. So, the way I see it, there's another level of guitars now from PRS. Cost more than even this one, I believe. And the private stock, well, the wood never ran out, so that was just a marketing piece of hype, wasn't it? Of course, we all fall for it. Don't forget, visit www.tonymckenzie.com because I'm going to do a written review of it, which will be better than this one. And my YouTube channel, which you know about, or maybe you don't, www.youtube.com/TonyMcKenzie.com without the dot. Till next time, the tea's in there. It's going cold. That's what the knock was, in case you did hear that. So I'm going to go and eat it, and you can go watch the other videos. Rock and roll. Oh, sorry, rock and roll. See you again, guys.